Hey folks, this is Matt once again for another viewer request review. This was actually requested from ImJeSsYMaRtY and Mario Mania 1234. Two people have requested this one, and that is for the film Insidious, which I rented, as you can see right here. Kind of nice that reflects all my DVDs. Now, Insidious was the big hit of this year, and the fact that it cost like $1 or $2 million and made a shitload. I can't remember the exact. I could look it up, but I know it's directed by James Wan, who of course directed Saw, the first Saw film, Dead Silence, Death Sentence. All three films I enjoy. Dead Silence, I like okay, but the ending kind of ruined it for me. But I enjoy Death Sentence. I enjoy the first Saw. For some reason that ending didn't ruin it for me. I don't know why. But yeah, $91 million it says. $53 million domestically, another $38 million internationally. And again, it only cost $1.5 million, so definitely a huge fucking hit. Now, it's written by Leigh Whannell, who also wrote the screenplay to Saw. He might have helped on Dead Silence and Death Sentence, I can't remember, but like I said, it's directed by James. And I'm a fan of James Wan as a director. I think he's a very talented director. The thing about this film that pisses me off is the fact that I loved the film until the ending. Like, the rest of the film, it hooked me. And I was surprised, because this is a film I went and wanted to hate, like, okay, and it was very well directed. It did not, I mean, long story short, you have two parents, played by Byrne, Patrick Wilson. They moved to a house with 3 kids. One day, one kid's in the attic and falls, and oh yeah, bump on your head, and then they put him to sleep, but then he can't wake up and he's in a coma, and the doctors, they can't figure out why he's in the coma, and they start seeing all this weird shit, and the mom says, we gotta move, and one nice thing, they move. You know how a lot of haunted house movies are like, why don't they just fucking move? And they do. They move. Enough crazy shit happens, they move to another house. But they start seeing weird shit again. So you get some paranormal guys, 2 paranormal guys. One of them is actually Leigh Whannell, the writer, who's also one of the main actors in the first Saw film. He was a guy connected with Carrie Elwes in the first Saw film, that they were in the same room. That's Leigh Whannell, and he's one of the 2 paranormal guys. The other is like a bigger guy with like a beard. And then also they have like a psychic girl, a woman played by Lynn Shay, who you've seen her in a bunch of stuff, including Snakes on a Plane. Pretty much a lot of stuff from New Line Cinema, since she's related to Robert Shay, the head of New Line Cinema, for at least for the longest while. And the thing about this film, it was really well done for me. The actors were competent. The reason they say it's from the makers of Paranormal Activity is that one of the producers, I'm not sure if the others are, but one of them is Oren Peli. That's the director of Paranormal Activity. He wrote and directed the first Paranormal Activity, and he was a producer on this film. It's almost like they did that just to put from the makers of Paranormal Activity and Saw. Of course, James Wan and Leigh Whannell helped make the first Saw film. But what I liked about the film, up until the ending, which I'm going to spoil, so beware of spoilers, because the ending fucking sucks. It's going to be filled with spoilers, so just be forewarned. But, I'm trying to how to word it. It doesn't invoke a lot of cheap bullshit scares. Meaning, If there's a steer, it's not a fucking cat. Or, oh. Because even in the featurette, I appreciate this notion. They went, if we're going to give you the build-up of a steer, we want him to pay off. And they do that a lot. Like, the mom comes into her baby's room, and all of a sudden there's a face there. Like a guy right behind. And she's calling, and then Patrick Wilson comes in, the father, and at least there's no one in there. Creepy images. I didn't see much of CGI at all, which another thing I appreciate. Really does the old school camera work. Like, anyone who's seen Death Sentence and you know how the great camera work in that film, Leigh Whannell, James Wan, the director, uses a lot of those cool camera tricks to invoke a great atmosphere and dread to the film. The kids were not too annoying at all. The actors were good. The figures that you saw, like there's a wide shot where you have the kid in the bed and then it keeps going to the right and you see a figure in the corner in shadow with like these long fingernails just coming and pointing to the kid. When they move to the new house, the mom like is outside and sees like a kid, then moves and there's nothing there, and she comes in and sees the kid passing by, and she's like, who the hell's that? And she comes in and sees shoes, and she looks and there's no shoes there, and then opens and boom. Now, I don't think that's a cheap scare because something happened. There's shoes on the shelf, but then on the top shelf the thing pops up. So it's a scare that actually something happens. I appreciate that. Oh, okay, shit, you got me. And it's not that the film scared me, it's just that I appreciated the filmmaking. I'm like, okay, these guys are doing a good job filming. To be honest, this film could have... Is this film... It's PG-13, yeah. No gore, no tits, and it didn't need it. Didn't need sewing a mouth to someone's ass, or it didn't need beating the shit out of a woman for 5 hours. This is what I'm talking about by effective horror filmmaking. James Wan, I think, even if I'm not a fan of some of the endings, which I'll get to, I do appreciate the filmmaking by James Wan. I appreciate what he's trying to do. Like, you have this figure with a red face, practical. And I know Michael Keane, I think he didn't like the fact that a lot of stuff wasn't explained. For some reason it didn't bother me, because it was all I needed to know. There's a demon, like the one with the red face is a demon, and there's other more malevolent ghosts, as well as just basically first part of the film is more of a haunted house, but then you find out, oh, it's possession, but then you really find out it's astral projection, which that was something I saw in the X-Files. There was an episode called The Walk where you had a guy who was in the war and he has no arms and no legs, but he starts killing people in revenge by astral projecting himself and killing people. So I've seen the astral projection in media before, but I like that aspect. So that the kid, he didn't know he was astral projecting, he thought he was dreaming, but he got too far and he can't come back. And basically all this time they're trying to wait for the body to be so weak and they can possess the body. And so you have some nice ghosts, well, nice, but less hostile ghosts, you have some more hostile ghosts, and you also have this demon, like this red-faced figure. And that was pretty much all I needed to know about them, because I didn't really need a legend behind them. It's like, oh, that's creepy looking, and it was straightforward. I enjoyed it. Straightforward, it wants to get in, kind of like Poltergeist. You know, the Poltergeist, you don't really know much about the ghosts other than, you didn't move the tombstones. You know, that sort of thing, which was fine with me. But yeah, like Poltergeist, you didn't know much about why the ghosts are doing this. They just, you didn't move the tombstones and they're pissed. Here it's like, oh, you left, we need a body, we want to get in. And then you find the father finds out that he had the ability when he was a kid, but they made him forget. Like he was going through this kind of similar thing, only it was with this sort of woman-like creature, and he was made to forget, and he's the only one to help his kid out, and he does. I like the way the limbo, the other side is like mostly fog, and then like the way it's done, like he enters the old house they had, and like the way these ghosts kind of look, like have this sort of look on them, like that, like one blink, like effective building of suspense, and going up and grabbing the kid and going back. And I thought it was effective. Like, I didn't need an explanation on, oh, these ghosts, they were in 1925, and, you know, didn't need it. Again, Poltergeist didn't need it. And the problem, though, comes with the bullshit fucking ending that ruined the film for me. Basically, I'm gonna spoil right now. He got his kid, and they got into the house, and for some reason when they get to the house, first off, Patrick Wilson is tired. Now, it's astral projection. And he's tired. He's like, oh, you go on. What? Like, you get into the house, and then you're like, you go on, I'll keep up with you. What? You don't make your kid run forward by himself? And you're like, I mean, what the fuck? Do you really get tired? Does the spirit get tired? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, does the spirit get tired? Like, whew. Like what? Are you sweating when you're a spirit? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because it leads to a bullshit where he sees the old woman that fucked with him as a kid, and instead of going to his kid, get him and get the fuck out back, he decides to stand there going, I'm not afraid of you. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And so you see from a point of view, one going to Patrick Wilson's body, one going to the kid's body, and the kid comes out fine, and you think the father came out fine. And then, you know, obviously there's more to it, because otherwise the movie would have fucking ended. And so Lin Shaye, the older woman, the psychic girl I should say, who helped him out, grabs something and notices something, and then takes a picture real quick, because you can see him through photographs. And then Patrick Wilson, the father's like, why did you do that? I hate when you do that. And chokes and kills Lin Shaye. And then the mom comes in, she doesn't know what's going on, and finds the picture, and realizes that, I think it was the old woman, I believe, or something else. I believe so. I think it was the old woman from when he was a kid. And the old woman has now possessed him. She's looking at this, and then you see his hand on her shoulder saying, what's wrong, or something like that. And basically, she turns to the camera and goes, fade to black. Or cut to black. I'm like, what the fuck? Really? 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 Now granted, I mean, the rest of the film, you had your problems, like, okay, the two other paranormal guys, teeny bit of comic relief, but not tons, not as much as I thought it would be. You didn't need them in the film, but they were okay. One really silly thing is during a seance, for some fucking reason, Lin Shaye puts on a fucking World War II gas mask, and the hose sticks to Leigh Whannell's ear, and basically that's how he hears what she's saying and writes it down. What the fuck do you need a gas mask for? Is the fucking spirits going to release some fucking viruses in the shit? Do they have mustard gas? Or some other type of gas? Or you know, fart in the premises? Why do you need a fucking gas mask from World War I or II? Or either one? Why? Okay, we need to be different. But that just made me laugh. So that thing... okay, it had one or two things, but the rest of the film was really good. Good acting, solid build of filmmaking, atmosphere. But then that ending just ruined it. I'm like, why? Why did you fucking end it like this? Why? I don't understand why the fuck you had to do that. It is very fucking bullshit. Just a very shitty ass ending that did not need to be fucking done. You don't need to fucking do an ending like that for fuck's sake. Shit. What the fuck? That just ruined the film for me. I would have enjoyed the film very much if it wasn't for that bullshit ending. Sorry. But it just, oh my god, like really? A, is going to depress the shit out of me. B, oh, okay, by the way, yeah, he's possessed, and she turns, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck, like, that's it? You got ended like fucking Paranormal Activity and all these other fucking movies, which is the same fucking ending that I keep seeing all the time? Really? Really? You had to do with that bullshit shitty cliche. The shock ending. It's not shocking anymore. Really. It's annoying. It is not a fucking ending. End the fucking movie. The guy gets his kid out. End of story. End it. Even if they're not planning a sequel, it just makes you think, oh, sequel bait. And it just, it's not an ending. That means the story's not over, right? The story's not over. It did not end. When I watch a story, I would like to see the ending of the story. You know what I mean? It just pisses me off because it was really well done up until the stupid fucking ending. This is why I didn't want to see this film, because I knew it had ending, because I know that pissed Michael Keane off. I think it pisses me off even more, because I didn't even mind the third act. Like some people say the third act was shaky, but I didn't mind it. It was a father, astral projection, he don't get his son, he's in this world. I didn't need to know their motives. It was fine. The motive was they're keeping the kid, so he's weakened enough, his body's weakened enough, and they can jump in there. That's all I needed. The boy's body to be weak enough for them to jump in. That's all I needed. That's why the demon thing, I think, had the kid sort of chained up far away. When he's weak enough, he'll jump in. But fuck, just, oh, don't end it like that. It fucking pisses me off. So I'm not going to buy the film because it has a... You know what? Someone in my Q&A asked about movies that were good but ruined by shitty endings. If I could answer that now, this is one of them. A really good fucking movie that I would have put in my fucking top 10 gladly, from the filmmaking standpoint of James Wan, effective and create an atmosphere, but ruined by just a shitty fucking ending that fucking pisses me off. I have shorts on, by the way, that's why, you know. Air out my frustration and my grief and my sweat and my balls so my anger can ebb and flow throughout the whole fucking room of this piss poor ending. I hate endings like that. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of those kind of endings. To me, those are cheap ass motherfucking endings. If I see an ending like that, it's a fucking cheap ass motherfucker. CMF. Cheap motherfucking cheap motherfucker. It is. That ending is a CMF. It's a cheap motherfucker. But anyway, that's my review of Insidious. I don't know what else to say about it. That was really well done. Acting was good. I didn't see really any CGI. Maybe one brief shot where the demon sort of is on like the side of the wall, but it's so brief, like, okay. But I didn't see CGI. Effective, creating an atmosphere, a mood. Acting was good. Score I liked. I like the end. I like when he's in the limo, Patrick Wilson, and it's going through like these candles, and it's like red, and they even say it kind of has a Dario Argento kind of look to it, and the demon with the red face as well. But they just ruin it with a shitty, piss poor ending, and that's fucking shitty. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and James Wan, stop with these fucking endings. You did the same ending with Dead Silence. Let's have a shock ending. The only one you didn't do was Death Sentence. But even that film, you know, I know a friend of mine has a problem with that ending because you don't see him actually kill the last guy, which I don't know why they did that. It didn't bother me too much, but at the same time, you know, I can understand. Like so it seems like he has a problem with his ending, so I don't know what the hell. But anyway, thanks for watching, and take care. Later.